G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the east side of the map in the colour blue, playing as the English. We've got DFP, aka Dio Favente Perennis. Let me give you a nice little bit of a zoom in so you can see exactly what kind of monument he's got in that TC. Of course, it's just going to be the standard Age of Empires 4-1. And on the other side of the map in the colour teal, also playing as the English with his nice little boat. We've got Gomdori friends. Oh yeah. Look at that zoom a little bit wider for you guys. Every single cast we do, it gets slightly wider. And if you enjoy the wide zoom, please feel free to like the video. The more you like the video, the wider the zoom gets. By the same token, if you do not like the wide zoom, please leave a comment and let me know why. You see what I'm doing there, right? Have you ever been to a concert and normally there's like an act, and I'm not talking like the big concerts, right? Like I went to one recently, it was Red Hot Chili Peppers and Post Malone. Great concert. But I'm talking like little ones. I can't remember who it was. It must have been like a small Australian rapper back in the day. But there's always this guy who gets on before and he tries to psych up the crowd. And they always do a really good job. And one of the ways that they do that is they pit each side of the crowd against each other. It's like, oh, this side's louder than that side. And then that side gets louder. And it's like, no, hold on. No. That's the louder side right there. And it's a great way to work it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm right now, I'm like I'm the warm-up dude. Well, I'm not really the warm-up dude. I'm kind of the main show, but I'm also the warm-up dude because that's the kind of service you guys get around here. Let's talk a little bit about this game, what we got happening. Looks like DFP going to be going for his standard opening here. So we used to watch quite a bit of Dio Favente Perennis back in Season 4. I loved his English. I loved watching him play because he played a very similar style to what I did. 2 TC into the Castle Age, often adds the 3rd TC once he's up in the Castle Age. I'm curious to see what kind of opening he looks for today. Whether he's going to be going for that fast castle. By the same token, his opponent, Gomdori, is a Conqueror 3 player. Now, not as renowned as DFP is. Obviously, DFP streams over on Twitch, so if you'd like to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description. But Gomdori, haven't heard of him, haven't seen him before, but doing a pretty good build on, obviously being a Conq 3 player. He's going to know his stuff. And so we do see the age ups about to come through down right now. Gomdori is slightly ahead of DFP, probably going to be dropping down the Council Hall. Let's see if we spot it. Come on, Gomdori. Oh, he's only got the 2 villagers on the gold. There we go. A little bit slow here. About 12 seconds slow on that age up. And it is going to be a council hall that comes down. Only the 2 villagers, which to me indicates that it's probably going to be a second TC that he looks for here. Let's see what he does. And these... Oh. Hold on. Hold your horses there, Drongo. 5 villagers going over to gold? What is your plan with all of these villagers on gold? Because 2 villagers on the council hall, to me, indicates like... I'm going to be going for a second TC because, you know, normally you want to have at least 3 to 4 vills on there to get out that early longbow. But it's not going to be the case today. We start to see him taking wood, also dropping down the mill, so I could just be looking for a wheelbarrow, something like that. But obviously, if you're thinking about going for an early wheelbarrow, I'd argue that you'd want to do it when DFP does it because it's coming in earlier and you can really make sure that you've got the best build possible. The only other way that I could maybe... agree with what's happening here from Gomdori is if he leaves the villagers on gold after the wheelbarrow comes through, but he does it for some other purpose. Like maybe he wants to get double broadaxe. Maybe he wants to get horticulture. You know, maybe there's some other upgrade that he's looking for specifically, and he's looking for that timing. But let's see exactly what he does. Wheelbarrow comes through straight away. 1 villager gets peeled off. Okay, all right. I'm respecting this so far. I'm liking it, Gomdori, so far. Looks like you know your stuff, and I can tell already the fact that he just peels off the 1 villager as soon as the wheelbarrow comes through. This guy's got what it takes. This is going to be a good game. All right, we'll check in on the other side of the map and see how DFP is doing. Looks like he's pulled villagers off gold for the moment. 10 villagers on wood, though. Obviously, utilizing a lot of the wood in the early game for that early mill, as well as the wheelbarrow, means that you're not going to have the wood to throw down a mining camp on the stone outcropping or a lumber camp immediately. So you're going to have to chop on those stragglers. And we can see he's got a pretty decent coverage right here. Gathering up from each individual straggler here. 70 wood on this one. This one here, 30 wood on it. This one, 38. So really nice coverage there. And good scouting so far as well from both of these players. DFP going to be scouting out his opponent. Sees the council hall. Sees the timing on the council hall. Knows that it's pretty late. Not going for a rush here. And yeah, should be absolutely fine. And now we do see, indeed, that stone outcropping is going to be coming down. Where does he go for the second TC, though? Normally, in this situation, I'd be going to second TC on the gold. And you'd kind of want to do it a bit more aggressive. Honestly, you could go for like the second TC over here and then do the beastie push. Because the deer are right here. And we've seen beastie do that before. And that was absolutely magnificent when he did. Age ups coming through though. Both players up within a second of each other. 455, 456 back to back. We're right on board with Gomdori and see how he looks to open. Couple of longbows, just playing it safely. Doesn't want to go too ham, and we do indeed see that it's going to be double broad axe and the horticulture that comes in. He's got the 3 vills on gold for the moment. So he's pulled another one off, but it definitely seems like it's going to be a 1 base opening so far from Gomdori. You know, I'm so close to saying John Dory. I'm pretty sure, I don't know about you guys, but in Australia, I think we've got a brand of fish, and it's John Dory. I mean, I shouldn't say a brand of fish. We've got a brand of... There's a can, and on the name, I think, is John Dory. I'm going to have to Google it later. But anyway, inside the can, you guessed it, it's fish. Because it makes it sound like, you know... I mean, it's not really a brand of fish when you think... Anyway, we'll move on. We'll move forward. Because we've got town centers that are going to be coming down shortly here for DFP. Now, when it comes to Gomdori looking to try and challenge that, we can see that the blacksmith comes down immediately. So we'll be looking for +1 ranged attack. We'll be looking for +1 ranged armor. We'll most likely be looking for siege engineering for a battering ram or 3 to put on that pressure towards the TC. And it looks like he's just going to be going with a little bit of a safe TC here. And that's definitely the right call. When you're up against another English player, you don't know exactly how they're going to play. Are they going to play 2 TC? Are they going to play 3 TC? Has he scouted out the stone? He hasn't scouted the stone, so he doesn't know whether it's going to be 2 TC, 3 TC, whether it's going to be rush, whether it's going to be a fast castle. So the only information he's got right now is that he's playing against an English player, and they've done a relatively slow age up, which to me indicates that it's going to be a passive opening. But obviously Gomdori, he's got other ideas. 8 longbows already out on the field here. Now, from DFP's perspective, he should be easily able to hold this. This is not a hard challenge at all. 2 TC English against 1 TC English, if they go for an all-in, it's not even close in my opinion. It's so easy to hold off and any player realistically, not just English, but any civilization with the English on the defense. You've got so many things that just really go well for the English, all right? Let me just start the list at the top. Number 1, town center fires an extra arrow. So you've got a little bit of extra damage that just makes the difference. Number 2, you've got extra attack speed on all of your units, 20%. Number 3, your villagers have got bows, so they don't have to get into melee. They can fight from a distance. They can easily pick off enemy units. That's number 3. Number 4, they've got a landmark that provides them 2 archery ranges. They don't have to pay for archery ranges. They get it for free. Number, what are we up to? That was number 4. Number 5, they have a unique unit with extra range, which means that you can keep it safely underneath the town center, and it has a really long reach. Number 6, they're not reliant on going out and getting these deer packs. They can if they want, but they can pay for their really cheap farms. And then number, what are we up to? 7, 8? I'm not the best at counting, but on top of that, they can take advantage of their already strengthened economy by focusing on those farms because they're able to utilize the mill influence. There's so many reasons why it makes sense to be an English defender and so few reasons why it makes sense to be an English attacker, especially in this matchup. But let's see exactly how Gomdori looks to play it, because on the top side, we do start to see those longbow masses beginning to build here. This will be interesting, to say the least. Siege engineering on the way through. Timing looking about that 9-minute mark for the siege engineering. It does take 30 seconds to come in. You'll have to drop down that ram as well. And you can see, look how many vills he's got on wood. This guy knows what he's doing. Brings out the... Excuse me, villager. Look at this little guy. Did a bit of a run around. Came in, throws down the outpost. I suspect he knows where the town center is. He's got the scout here. So he will be looking to apply pressure towards that second TC. So remember, from DFP's perspective, he's got 2 options that he can play it. Number 1, he can just play in the feudal age and look for longbows. Number 2 is he can go for castle age himself. Well, I shouldn't say himself because his opponent isn't castle, but he can go castle age and look to get the white tower. And that's normally what I would look to do, even in this situation. Even when you're up against this, it's like the white tower is still absolutely fine. Like, you can throw down your white tower right here in the middle. You can go 2 TC into a white tower. You can be up before 9 minutes 30 easily. So you can see, like, the timing on this ram. Can you imagine, like, with a white tower sitting here? Like, there's no hope. Not an absolute hope in hell that you're going to be able to take this out. So you can play it multiple ways, and we can see DFP starting to mass up to 11 longbows now. So double the amount of longbows for his opponent. Now DFP going to start to push out. He's got absolutely no idea until the battering ram finally comes in, and the bells will start ringing shortly if they haven't already. There they go. So now DFP becomes certainly aware. So the first thing he wants to do in this situation, defending, pull 2 to 3 villages and start repairing the town center. That's the first thing that you should do. Because as this ram comes in, your villagers are going to pop out here. But remember, nothing is repairing the TC. You're not gaining that health back. So you really need to pull that in. With the second ram coming in, you want to make sure you look to bring in a couple of extra villagers here. But he's doing a really good job so far. Loses a villager. Needs to get that textiles upgrade in. You can see it's on the way through now. 7 seconds to go. Longbow number is definitely in favor of his opponent at the moment, but just needs to fall back under the safety of the town center. Town center looking to fire down here on the longbows. You can see he's got villagers on the backside. Villagers are going to be popping out. Not going to be going for the repair, though. DFP loses the TC, and I'm just going to call that right now, and I'm going to say, Gomdori, that's a decent investment, mate. What you have done right here is solid. Being able to take out that town center is absolutely huge. And I think DFP probably didn't play it correctly. He had plenty of resources in the bank. We can see 150 wood was more than enough to repair that up. All he needed was 3-4 villagers pulled at the beginning. Just in this little corner at the back, as long as the TC's focusing down the longbows, keep the villagers inside the TC. Remember, you've got your textiles upgrade coming through, so you're able to survive a few more shots. You've got your own longbows to help defend, and as long as they're repairing, you've got that trickle of additional health coming through. And that's what makes the difference. Now the question's going to be whether Gomdori decides at this point whether he's going to continue putting on the pressure or where he's going to fall back, or whether, rather, he's going to fall back and look to capitalize on the advantage he's managed to build for himself here. DFP definitely on the back foot, though. 31 longbows up against 22, but keep in mind, you've got the bonus of being right next to your reinforcements, you've got your villagers that you can pull, and of course, you've got that little bit of extra attack speed coming through, and it looks like a third archery range going to be thrown down here on the backside. Technically, it's the first archery range, but the council hall counts as two, so we'll call it the third one that gets thrown down here. So he is really looking to go ham with this longbow production. And now the 4 battering rams make their way through. DFP under pressure early on in this game, 11 minutes through. Let's switch it over to the income so you guys can see exactly what these guys are making. Now, villagers once again getting pulled. It's always tough to try and defend a landmark like this just because there's nowhere for these villagers to go. In the event, you want to try and pop them in. 5th ram comes out. But you can see right now that Gomdori's doing a good job of sniping out those villagers. I take it back, he's not even sniping out the villagers, he's just taking out the longbows right now. He does have that bonus network of castles, so the villagers are just going to be left to take out all of the battering rams here. So I don't know if that's necessarily a mistake from Gomdori, but definitely a choice, but a mistake to push in at this point, because even though the council hall goes down, the landmark still stands. I guess where the advantage now comes for Gomdori is that his opponent is down 2 archery rangers. So if he really wants to, he can just go absolutely ham with longbows still at this point, and could look to potentially take over the game because his opponent is just down 2 archery rangers. He's going to need to throw down additional rangers immediately if he wants to keep up with that. A lot of villagers repairing here. Look how fast this is draining the wood. A little bit of a mistake again from DFP. This is wild to me to see, where this DFP is an incredibly good player. Top 20 that we're talking about right here. Insufficient wood comes through. The battering rams looking to once again turn their attention towards the council hall. Longbow numbers for DFP. He's getting eaten alive right now. This is a tough game for the kid. I call him the kid. He's not really the kid. You guys remember the kid. That's Voldemar. This DFP, I'll be honest, I've never heard his voice. I don't know how old he is. I don't know what he looks like. He streams, but he doesn't talk. He types in the chat. He's one of those guys. You know the guys that stream, but they're there, and they I mean, you can't hear them, but they're typing in the chat, so they're there. They are there. But villager numbers, not a huge difference between them. 42 versus 45. I'm surprised Gomdori didn't look to pick off more villagers, because he did have the numbers advantage with regard to his longbows, but just decided not to really push the advantage on those villagers when they were taking out the battering rams. So, interesting decision. Behind this, farms coming through now. Very far away from the town center. Ripe for a counterattack. Once the castle edge comes through, you could expect to see knights camping this bad boy all day. They're so far away from the TC. And now we see a forward archery range coming out for Gomdori. Additional battering rams getting thrown down. Gomdori is getting serious about taking out DFP from this game. Looks like the council hall did finally come up. I wonder how much wood he spent repairing the council hall versus whether he could have just built additional rangers. Because I feel like, remember that the way that wood works is it's mitigating returns based on how much or how many villagers are repairing at a specific time. So if you're repairing with 1 villager, the wood that you're utilizing and the repair rate you've got is the most efficient possible. However, it's obviously the slowest. So the more villagers you add, you're not getting necessarily the same repair rate for each of them, and you're also consuming more resources to do it. So you've got to keep that in mind. I remember watching a game where the Abbasid player tried to repair his landmark. He was getting landmark sniped. He was in Imperial Age with 28,000 health. The landmark had been taken out. and he had, I think it was more than 10,000 wood in the bank. And he tried repairing it with 60 plus villagers. And he ran out of wood before he was able to repair the House of Wisdom. You gotta be real careful with it. And now the longbows start to move up towards the council hall. Gonna stand in front. 38 longbows here for Gomdori versus the 29 of DFP. Villagers managed to get in on top, but there's so many damn battering rams here. He's not going to be able to look for a snipe on the main TC. If he does, he's going to be wasting those battering rams. You can see all the vills coming out here. This is right pickings right now for Gomdori. Is he going to be looking to take it, though? He gets forced back by DFP. Able to take out a couple more villagers, but even at this point, right, he's only taken 5 vills. The thing you've got to remember is every single fight that you take, more and more villagers are going to be needed to take out the battering rams. So no matter what, you're going to have to bring those villagers forward. And so you're always going to be able to take out those villagers. So the fact that he only went for villagers right then kind of hurts a little bit, because he could have taken out at least 15 plus villagers this game. And now they're even Stevens. And the longbow number's starting to even up as well. This is a classic English mirror right now. This is going down really to the wire in this feudal age. These guys are fighting it out. Heavy hitters. Behind this, I mean, nothing too complicated is going on. It's just a whole bunch of longbows, a whole bunch of battering rams, villagers getting pulled each time the council hall goes down. But he's going to try and repair it. Not a lot of wood in the bank. He's really struggling here. Ideally, you should just be looking to repair with like 5 or 6 vills. Definitely not. How many has he got? He's got 10. I mean, it's not too much, but it's going to be a lot of wood. Now the next question is going to be, where does DFP go for wood? Because he's about to run out. He could look to come down to the south, which is probably the safest bet. Because if he goes to this position, almost certainly his enemy will find him. Meanwhile, for Gomdori, he's looking to expand over towards his front. Nice little base he's got here. Nothing too crazy. More farms going to start to come down as well. DFP going to be thinking about a castle age here. Could look for a white tower. White tower, obviously the safe option. But I think King's Palace makes the most sense here. But I know DFP is definitely a white tower enjoyer. He is a fellow white tower enjoyer. Let's see what he does. Oh my lord, look at the battering rams coming through. Keep in mind, he could go for just a sneaky little King's Palace down here. That'd be actually perfect for him. I think that's exactly what he's going to do. Morville's getting pulled though. And once again, the longbow's going to be looking to push up towards those battering rams. 6 battering rams out so far. Longbow numbers, 26 versus 35. Gomdori once again ahead by about 10. And it looks like for the 3rd time this game, the council hall may be going down. A little bit of a bug out right there on the battering rams. He just turns around and says, you know what? We'll stick it. We'll stick it. We'll commit. He needs to focus down the villagers. It looks like he's doing it. Finally, 11 villagers. Managing to take out a couple more. Landmark goes down. Battering ram numbers still pretty decent here for him. And now turning his attention towards those farms. But it looks like DFP holds with the longbow numbers. Not splitting up the fire, or rather splitting up the fire too much. We can see that his opponent comes out a little bit weaker. The one key thing to note though is it's 54 villagers against 46. There is a difference of 8, which is pretty big. At this point though, 8 villagers, it's not huge. The main question is going to be whether DFP is going to be able to get to that castle age or not. He hasn't added in more farms yet. But it definitely feels like after taking that fight, as long as he doesn't push out, he should be able to hold on these units that he's got for at least the next minute or 2. And then once he gets castle, he just goes straight into the knights, and that's it. Or I guess realistically, he can probably just get veterancy, and he'll be absolutely fine with that as well. Let's see whether he does it, though. More villagers moving up towards those hunts. Interesting that Gomdori hasn't looked to push this at all. He's got no line of sight out here, at least no active line of sight. More archery rangers coming in on the front line. DFP really trying to push towards that castle age. We can see him slowly grinding towards it. More villagers down here on the south. I suspect this is where the King's Palace is going to go. He knows he doesn't have to play safe anymore. He can look for that second TC. So I expect that that's where it's going to be. Nice and safe down here as well. Not very exposed. And now with these villagers moving down, it seems almost certain that that's where it's going to be. He's going to be careful to make sure he leaves enough villagers back here, though. Because he does not only need to take out battering rams, but he also needs to repair landmarks when they're getting sieged down. Yeah, I was going to say, that felt like probably a little bit too much. And he does go white tower. Very interesting decision from DFP. So really feeling I guess you could say, quite a bit of concern here. Fearful that the next wave is on the way in. And I mean, he's on the money with this one. He's 100% correct. The next wave is on the way. The battering ram is down. That's the second one, actually. He's got a first one out somewhere. There it is. So he's already got the 2 rams out. And once again, Gomdori. Don't tell me Gomdori got Conk 3'd by just ram rushing people. That would actually... I would have my mind blown if somebody got Conqueror 3 just by doing a ram rush. To be fair, his mechanics look pretty decent. Like, with the exception of maybe that little bit of micro there on the longbows, I didn't see him focusing down DFP's longbows. That could be like the primary difference. But now that the white tower's up, this is just going to shred through any units that even try and get close. So I suspect that any kind of aggression towards this is going to be met with a quick retreat. But let's wait and see exactly how Gomdori looks to approach this situation. Veterancy should be coming through for DFP shortly. Hasn't been focusing his collection of gold, and there's finally the villagers moving across now. Really wants to avoid fighting until that veterancy comes through. Remember that for the longbows, you get an additional 2 attack with your longbow upgrade to veterancy. So you really want to try and make sure that you fight with that upgrade instead of without it. Longbow numbers really looking good here for DFP, up to 41 on the defensive. Manages to get up safely. Numbers here for his opponent, up to 48. About to come through. There he goes. He's got enough resources for it. Can look for that veterancy upgrade now. There it is. Immediately throws it in the queue. Really? 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 Come on, DFP. It takes 30 seconds in the council hall compared to 1 minute in the archery range. And now you're... Oh my god, DFP, I've got my hand on my head right now. DFP, don't take this fight. You don't need to. Why are we taking this fight? We don't need to. DFP, don't make this mistake, my friend. DFP throwing away units right now, and this is painful to watch. A man getting his upgrade right now in the archery range compared to into the council hall. Fighting while he's getting it. Just such a waste of units. And now look at this. Gomdori double the longbow number compared to DFP, but we do see knights are out. Or at least in queue. It's going to be going from the white tower, of course. I was looking for the stable. I'm like, where's this where's this stable? So 1 knight, not going to be able to turn the tides here. 2 knights, probably not able to turn the tides. 3 knights? Oh yeah. Now you're talking. Once he gets to 3 knights, I think that's critical mass. He's got ranged armor as well. DFP going to be looking to try and keep this hidden, I would suspect, until his enemy... Until he has to, but you can see that he does actually get a spot on that knight back there. So we could expect to see Gomdori look to add in a barracks on the front. I know I would be thinking about that right now. I'd be dropping down that barracks, looking to try and get out a couple spears here. And now that you see the knight, you almost certainly have to do that. Either that or go Castle Age yourself, and it looks like Gomdori going to be going Castle Age here. So doing the right thing and just going to be falling back for the moment. So DFP manages to hold, but look at this, Gomdori up 14 villages in this game. Yet to throw in that second TC. Longbow's got to be careful. The knight comes up. You can see just how quickly it gets eviscerated. I was going to say evaporated, like milk. Second knight comes in, gets taken out. Third knight, he didn't bring them all in at the same time, though. He just charged them in one by one. DFP, I can't believe you're doing me like this. And now those longbows, he's got the veterancy upgrade on them finally, but still outnumbered and outgunned at this point. Means DFP is going to have to retreat back to the safety of the TC. Let's check in over with his opponent. See how things are going back here. Gomdori. Not sure if you're aware, mate, but you've got enough resources to age up. If you'd like to do it, I would encourage right here. Would be perfect. Or I guess you could just go with a forward white tower. That's another option for you, Gomdori. Dude, is this guy a smurf? There's a part of me that thinks he's smurfing, but memeing. So, if DFP right now was playing against Puppy Paw, right? Like, Puppy Paw would absolutely wipe the floor with him. But if Puppy Paw is memeing, then Puppy Paw plays really well, but he also does a little bit of memes. Like, you know, he does a little bit of trolling, that sort of thing. We do a little bit of trolling. Is that what's happening right here? Because right now, DFP, he's going to have a landmark in his base, and this is a big problem for him. You might be wondering, why is this a big problem for him? Because 1, 2, 3 landmarks are all next to each other. And there is a perfect base of operations right here that's going to start with what I would suspect is a trebuchet. Actually, you know who this looks like? I'm going to say it right now. Don Artie. I think there's something that tells me this might actually be Don Artie. The playstyle is exactly Don Artie's style. That's wild to me. It's actually crazy that I can determine that, that that's the player. It's absolutely ludicrous. How much you guys want to bet it's Don Artie? I'm going to bet right now. And I guarantee you, like, I promise you, Don Artie has not messaged me. He's not been like, hey, Drongo, check out this game. Nothing like that. It's just literally, I was going through, you know, I would alt-tab you guys right now if I wasn't going to expose myself and just show you. I was, like, going through the recent games that happened on Twitch, and I saw that there was a game that DFP played. It was an English mirror. I was like, yeah, let's go check that one out. That one sounds good. And now we're here. But it literally looks like it might be a Don Artie Smurf. The way that he's playing. It is very much an all-in play style. Gomdori now going to be falling back towards the town center. Knights. So where does Gomdori go from here? To me, there's only one way that Gomdori goes, and it's trebuchets, and we see the second treb now coming out. This is actually a huge problem right here for DFP, because all Gomdori needs to do, he just pulls vills. He can just pull villagers once he's got enough trebs. So I think you probably want to go to about 3 trebs, maybe even a 4th treb here. Take down the White Tower first, because the White Tower is where all that production's coming from. There's counter trebs here. He's going to be able to repair up on the front line. Needs to pull vills immediately for this, though. Still struggling over towards his own base. DFP looking to try and take him out, though. Prevent that counter attack from happening. Meanwhile, towards the front, Mangonel going to be able to hold. Looks like DFP not going to be able to do too much back here, and we can see vills do get pulled to repair up the White Tower. He's going to need to add in an additional, I was going to say longbowman. Trebuchet. An additional trebuchet. And I'm literally waiting here right now. I know it's going to happen. These vills are all going to get pulled. It's going to happen. There's no two ways about it. The type of strategy this is, I know the way Don Artie plays. If there's a villager pull, I guarantee you it's Don Artie. If there's no villager pull, it's not Don Artie. Let's go with that. White Tower going down, though. Don Artie making a little bit of a... calling him Don Artie! Gomdori! Gomdori making a little bit of a mistake right here. Not pulling the villagers to repair. It's too little too late, Gomdori. I can't believe you did... I can't believe you've done this. It should be more English, shouldn't it? I can't believe you've done this. That's what it should be like. Now he's in a little bit of trouble. Because the White Tower still stands for DFP. Double trap shots. Still coming through. He's got potential. And with the White Tower down, it means that there's an opening right here for these Knights to run through. A couple of longbows could look to defend. He's going to need to pop down the palings. Doesn't look for it. Vills come in as well. He's going to be trying to body block with it. He needs to keep the trebuchets alive. It's his only way back into this game if he chooses to survive. And back towards the front. The Knights looking to maraud through all of those longbows. Still no spearmen. 100% longbows. 70 longbows on the field right now for Gomdori. 69. And honestly, a nice number of longbows. Needs to honestly just bring these to the front. Bring everything to the front right now, Gomdori. I can't believe that, man. Gomdori just had to pull like 4 or 5 villagers to just repair up the White Tower. He had plenty of wood in the bank. There was no two ways about it. And now that the White Tower's gone, that's it. Like, it's all over Red Rover from here. DFP, the only way he loses this is if he makes a huge mistake. And I mean, to be fair, he's kind of down on the military numbers. Look at this, 70. Oh, that's a concerning amount of military. 80 military pop versus 20 military pop. I don't know how Gomdori managed to get that far ahead. Has it just been this aggression early on? And he's been able to inch out little bits of bonuses. Villagers moving forward. I think these might have been the gold vills, bringing them up to the wood. Plenty of vills still back here. Treb's firing down on the landmarks. Looks like the White Tower not going to be going down. No boiling oil in for him either. Keep that in mind. So that does leave an opening. Longbow numbers are so insane right now. Mangonel! Oh my lord! Mangonel! Oh my god! Oh my god! DFP! DFP! Looking for the RKO off the top rope! Manages to find about 4 of them. Vills get pulled. How many Vills has he pulled? I think it's only just the ones at the front. Mango not going to be able to turn around. Longbow's looking to try and pick off all these Vills here. Needs to bring the splits in. Counter-attack on the other side of the map. Mangonel, Mangonel, Mangonel! It's a massive shot that lands. Only able to take out about 6 of the longbowmen, but still there's plenty back there. Vills getting absolutely marauded. He is losing everything, and it's Don Artie. It is 100% confirmed. This is Don Artie. No man pulls villagers like Don Artie does. This is him. This has got to be him. There's no two ways about it. I'm going to go double check after this game. I got to see the profile. I got to see who is this guy, because he's looking to push in right now and take out these landmarks. If he's able to take out the big boy, the White Tower, it could ruin this game right here for DFP. Villagers coming through. He doesn't have the textiles upgrade just yet. 16 units inside the White Tower. They're firing down towards it. Mangonel comes out. Turns around off the top rope. Mangonel! Oh, and a huge sweep right there. RKO off the top rope. Randy Orton gets the repairs out. A second one as well. Oh, my lord. It is terrible damage right now. The villager countdown to 22. An absolute massacre as a single Mangonel saves the day for DFP. And somehow, some way, he lives to see another day. Dom Dory, it was a good attempt, friend. You definitely channeled your inner Don Artie here. The only thing you needed to do was just pull villagers and start repairing your White Tower. That was literally it. Make a third, make a fourth trap, and that was it. You had the game. You had the game in your pocket, and now with 9 villagers remaining, 11 military units, he's still pumping. You got to give respect to the guy. Still pumping at this point. Good game gets called. Wow. Fellas, go check out DFP. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can watch him. If it is Don Artie, I'll ask him after the game. I'll leave a link to Don Artie as well because, well, he's a stand-up guy. So anyway, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.